Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, vaccinations limited to second doses only. Why the PLP leader says a snap election won't help the F&M. Plus, a man is killed and 2 others injured in an accident. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a dwindling supply of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in country has prompted the Vaccine Consultative Committee to halt the administration of first doses. This means only second doses will be administered for the time being. Some Bahamians are calling this unacceptable. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
While there are those who kind of understand, there are those who are questioning after all of the pleas for people to come in and get vaccinated. How could there be a shortage?
Yeah, but I don't understand how they can run out, you know.
Annette Christophilus got her COVID-19 vaccinations in the U.S., opting to take the Moderna vaccine. But she says after months upon months of hearing public officials make a plea for Bahamians to get vaccinated, running out would be the last thing she expected to happen. And she's not alone.
I mean, why would they push you if they knew why they should have more vaccine available for people? I mean, I was thinking about going this week.
In a statement, the committee said the administration of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine will be limited to second doses until additional doses of the vaccine are received in country. The administration of first doses will resume once additional COVID-19 vaccination supplies have been received. According to that statement, this shortage shouldn't last long, saying the Bahamas is scheduled to receive 33,600 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine before the end of July through the COVAX facility. In the meantime, John Boleg wonders how the country has stumbled upon a shortage.
I don't think it's acceptable. You know, in the crisis, I don't think that it's acceptable.
The push for vaccinations has been a hard one from the government's end, with the Prime Minister even making another call in his recent independence message.
That's not good.
Michael Tucker says while he's not one eager to get the vaccine, there could be those who may have recently made up their mind to do so.
So how is it we have a shortage? That doesn't make any sense to me. It would be nice if everybody could get a vaccine, but I'm not interested.
As of July 2nd, over 97,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine have been administered in the Bahamas. Over 60,000 have received at least their first dose, with 37,000 fully vaccinated. Health Minister Renwood Welch said on Tuesday the Bahamas is set to get 57,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine through the COVAX facility, but he could not say how soon. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
In other news, opposition leader Philip Davis responding to speculation the Prime Minister will call an early election. Davis insists a snap election will not help the Free National Movement, adding the F&M leader's back is against the wall. Jasmine Brown reports.
The Progressive Liberal Party leader says he believes pressure is related to the country's burgeoning debt, government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and internal challenges facing the Free National Movement are likely forcing Minnis' hand when it comes to calling the next general election.
There's no doubt that the tea leaves read that the Prime Minister is about to call a snap election. But you have to ask yourself, why would what I call a power-hungry guy give up 9 months of his term? And my take on it is because his back is against the wall. They're having a hard time getting people to lend them money for their budget. As you'd recall, there's a $10 million debt. There appears to be no plan as to how to manage that debt. And that will cause the marketplace, the money marketplace, to be jittery to lend further monies.
Our News understands that Dr. Minnis instructed Free National Movement candidates during a Tuesday night meeting to go out and campaign because the next general election is coming. This news fueled speculation that an election could be called as early as August. Davis said he would not dismiss that possibility given the challenges the Minnis administration is facing.
He's being criticized by his own team members. He has a House Speaker that's not cooperating with him. So those challenges, I suspect, might be the motivating factor for him to move on.
The FNM is expected to ratify its last 4 candidates in the next election tonight. The Progressive Liberal Party has ratified all 39 of its candidates. Davis accuses the Prime Minister of playing games with the Bahamian people, noting that the Prime Minister promised to implement a fixed election date.
At the end of the day, the Bahamian people are anxious, I think, for a new mandate.
Now, Davis says as the country awaits to see what the Prime Minister will do, the PLP is in full campaign mode and will be ready for a snap election. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Follow our news on Facebook tonight for FNM ratification details and tune in tomorrow for the full story. Meanwhile, a man died tragically today after the vehicle he was a passenger in slammed into a parked dump truck. The driver and a female passenger are in hospital. Jillian Gray has the details.
Glass on the floor tells the scene of tragedy that struck here on Charles W. Saunders Highway when a Jeep ran into a Mack truck. A man lost his life and 2 others are still in hospital fighting to survive.
One of the males in the front seat was found to be unresponsive, and all the persons in the vehicle received injuries. EMS was called, and on their arrival, they rendered assistance to all the passengers. However, the male passenger in the front seat succumbed to his injuries. The female and male was transported to the hospital via ambulance. The preliminary investigations revealed that the RAV4 was traveling east along Charles W. Saunders when it collided into the Mack truck that was stationary at the time.
ASP Audley Peters says the occupants were in their late 20s. Ministry of Works personnel were on the scene in the aftermath of the crash as the dump truck was subcontracted by them to clean up asphalt from the side of the road. The shaken driver of that dump truck was too overcome with emotion to speak, but his colleague told us off camera that their hazard lights were on and they were on their 4th truckload of asphalt when they heard a loud bang. Persons in the area said they heard that loud bang.
We actually ran out to see what's actually going on, and to behold that there's a truck, Jeep, like literally lodged underneath. But by the time as we actually got to it, we actually noticed that one guy was actually like unresponsive. He was just breathing, but his eyes were closed.
Police believe speed was a factor in the crash.
This isn't the first time that an accident happened on this highway. A few times back before curfew, one vehicle actually sped across the road and almost hit my vehicle, but ended up inside the bushes.
Officer in charge of the traffic division, ASP Mario Sweeting, says this is the 16th traffic fatality in the Bahamas for the year and the 4th in New Providence. He encouraged motorists to drive more carefully.
We continue to plead with the members of the public to drive with courtesy, with patience, and obey the traffic speed regulation.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
The devastated mother of a 23-year-old man shot and killed over the weekend is demanding justice for her son. She spoke with Jared Higgs.
Grace Stubbs was lying in her bed on Saturday night when she heard the sounds of gunshots. She soon learned that the victim of the shooting in Ridgeland Park West was her son, 23-year-old Sario Stewart.
Sarah was quiet. Sarah was a person, just go to the shop for my mother, buy her stuff, come home, cook, lay down, then go back over in the corner, go sit down. He never bothered with no one.
According to police, officers were alerted to gunshots in the Ridgeland Park area behind the Teachers Credit Union. When they arrived on scene, they met Stewart's body on the ground in an apartment complex nearby.
Well, the person called him to the car and he went to the person. And when he spun back around, they shot him. I lay down in my bed and I heard the shot going off. I said, that was my baby. They didn't want to tell me.
Our news spoke with Stewart's grieving mother at their family home. She agreed to an audio interview where she described her son as somebody who kept to himself. But she says the deaths of 2 people close to him had a negative impact on him.
My grandson get killed and his best friend, and he just like, he go on drinking, mom.
It took a toll on him.
It took a toll on him. He couldn't catch himself.
Stewart is the nephew of Stephen Dye Stubbs, who was convicted of murdering a police officer back in 1999, but his family says that his uncle has nothing to do with this case. Stewart's killing was part of a bloody holiday weekend that saw 5 men killed between Thursday night and Monday evening. Stubbs, who still mourns the killing of her grandson, now wants justice for her son.
They did that for spite, but I lead them to God, and God is going to bring them out, and the man is going to catch them, and I can get justice for my child. I can get justice for him. I can get justice for him. I lead them to God.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Breezy with a few showers today. Greg Thompson has the latest in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christine, and welcome everybody for your first look at weather, brought to you tonight by Nestum. New look, same great taste, distributed by Lightburn Trading. Quiet weather outside our studios. We have some patchy clouds, a couple of showers off in the distance. Temperatures near the 80-degree mark once again. Your winds are out of the east at 7 knots with some gust at times, and your feels-like temperature also in the mid to upper 80s. Satellite view, that high pressure remains in charge, generating an easterly flow that's bringing some clouds and some spotty showers across us. This weather pattern is expected to continue tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, a customs broker accused of fraud is granted bail. Plus, the NTC says workers should not foot the bill for COVID tests. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
The customs broker accused of defrauding Cable Bahamas of millions of dollars was granted $200,000 bail in the magistrate's court today. Bethany McDermott has that.
One day after she was arraigned on over 100 charges, 34-year-old Precious Moxie Miller returned to the magistrate's court on Thursday to be charged with another 10 counts of fraud by false pretenses, 11 counts of stealing by reason of service, 12 counts of falsification of accounts, and 11 counts of uttering a false document. Prosecutors allege that between February 15th and July 5th, 2019, the mother of 4 obtained from Cable Bahamas Limited Royal Bank's checks totaling more than $744,000 and stole more than $128,000 from Cable Bahamas by reason of service. The customs broker is also accused of making false entries on multiple Customs Department C-13 forms. Moxie Miller also faces 2 counts of money laundering. Between January 2nd, 2018 and June 25th, 2019, she allegedly acquired and converted more than $2.8 million from Cable Bahamas, which represents the proceeds of crime. She pleaded not guilty to all charges. Her attorney, Kenyatta Gibson, told the court his client is a wife, mother, and a well-known businesswoman known for her work with underprivileged children in Camp Road. He noted that she unequivocally stated her innocence and intends to defend herself against the allegations. Magistrate Kendra Kelly granted $200,000 bail. Moxie Miller returns to court on October 18th for trial. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
A 28-year-old Perdilian Moxie has been charged with the Independence Day murder of Teran Taylor. Taylor was found laying on the street with gunshot wounds on Palmetto Road, Sunset Park, shortly before 7 a.m. on Saturday. Moxie was not required to enter a plea and bail was denied. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until September 17th. In other news, employers cannot force their staff to pay for weekly COVID-19 tests, according to the chairman of the National Tripartite Council, who's encouraging workers to file labor disputes if their employers do not refund money spent on tests. Giorgio Bain reports.
Since the rollout of the country's vaccination program, some employers have required unvaccinated staff members to pay for a rapid antigen test weekly to prove they do not have COVID-19. However, chairman of the National Tripartite Council, Robert Ferguson, says the law is very clear on this matter.
2 of the larger hotel properties has indicated in writing that come September they intend to have employees pay. One water production company in New Providence has already begun for the past 5 weeks charging employees to pay for COVID-19 tests. That's a direct violation of Section 9 of the Health and Safety Act. The Health and Safety Act mandates that no employer shall levy or permit to be levied any charge of anything in respect coming out of this act.
As of July 10th, over 60,000 people have received one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in the Bahamas. Over 37,000 people are fully vaccinated. Ferguson said while it is mandated by law that employers provide a safe work environment, it should not come at the expense of the employees.
If you hire somebody and that person is not required to have a vaccine, you cannot take it upon yourself and change that without that employee's permission. In law, it's called unilateral variation of contract.
According to Ferguson, it seems as though many employers are taking advantage of the fact that many persons are desperate to return to work after months of being unemployed. He says that the NTC is prepared to back employees once they're prepared to step forward.
I want to encourage employers who are doing that to refrain from doing it. I want to encourage employees who have had monies deducted or have their employees charged for tests, challenge them. They can bring an action at the Department of Labor.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Up next, residents ready for the state of emergency to end, plus another loss for the Suns. The details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. Bahamians sharing mixed reaction to the health minister's announcement that the state of emergency will end in August. Jasmine Brown has that.
Freedom is a must.
The reactions of residents we spoke to were mixed, as some disagreed with ending the state of emergency while others are applauding it, like Leonardo Stort, who says it's time for Bahamians to get their freedom back.
Because plenty modes out there to feed, and people really need it, you know what I mean? So locking down the country, it don't really make sense, because, you know, it could be harder for us too.
On Tuesday, the health minister told reporters that the government is moving to end the state of emergency to August 13th. It was welcomed news for workers in the tourism industry, who all insist life would be much easier and the industry much better off if the country was no longer under a state of emergency.
The world opening up, tourists are back. They have much things to do, and I feel it should open it a long time.
I agree, totally. I think it's time we do get rid of it and get the space back open and running. In the tourist industry, we're hurting real bad because the straw market is not open. These people coming up this cruise ship here today, where do they want to go? To the straw market or to the beach. I work from the Bahama Hotel and from the Paris Island Hotel. Where do they want to go? To the straw market. The straw market has been the foundation of this tourist industry in downtown Nassau for decades. We need it back open, and we need it back open ASAP.
It hasn't been easy, but I understand why we have to do it. So it's just about getting used to until we can get over this. We just need to kind of just work together instead of just fighting every idea because maybe you don't like the person or don't support this particular party. I think whatever is best for the Bahamian people is what we need to do.
Still, there are those like Jean Oscar who say the last thing the Bahamas should do is end the state of emergency.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you gotta have rules. If you don't have rules, then anybody's gonna be walking out of here with no mask and do what they want to do.
So you
gotta have rules, yeah.
They should keep the emergency orders in place.
Yeah.
Have you felt safe under the state of emergency?
Yeah, I felt safe.
Now, while those residents are reacting, the fact remains that only the health minister has said anything about that state of emergency and what will happen in mid-August. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In sports tonight, DeAndre and the Suns take a loss in Game 4, and Jonquil Jones shines at the WNBA All-Star. Marcellus Hall has that and more tonight in sports.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Last night, going into Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, DeAndre and the Suns had not lost 2 in a row all playoff long, and we're hoping to continue that trend. Turns out Milwaukee had different ideas. Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton on the road in Milwaukee last night, taking on the Bucks. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Suns hoping to take a 3-1 lead in the series. Bucks, though, as we said, with different ideas, as Giannis Antetokounmpo dropping 26 points, had 14 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Added to that 2 blocks, and that led Milwaukee to the win, 109-103. Meanwhile, slow night offensively for DeAndre. He finished with just 6 points on 3 of 9 shooting. He did, however, have 17 rebounds, 5 assists. Suns, though, will definitely need more as the series heads back to Phoenix for Game 5 on Saturday. Still with hoops, Jonquel Jones in the 3-point shootout of the WNBA All-Star. Jones into the final against defending champion Allie Quigley. Going into that final round, Jonquel with 24 points could only watch in disbelief as Quigley went on a tear in the final few racks to pull off the improbable win. Jones settling for second as Quigley makes it 3 in a row. Now, Jonquel also in the All-Star game as Team WNBA, defeating the Team USA's national squad 93-85. Jones, 18 points, 14 rebounds. She also had 4 assists. That helped lead her squad to the win. WNBA action does resume later on this week. And there you have it. Your check on sports for you here on this Thursday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still to come, could your vax status affect your admission to hurricane shelters? Find out after this.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. More breeze takes us into the weekend. Here's Greg with the details.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. That high-pressure system remains in charge, generating some very nice conditions across our islands. The breeze continuing, bringing in some spotty showers across the islands. We will continue to see that pattern over the next couple of days as that high remains in charge. Hurricane Center still watching that area up near Bermuda for some chances for formation. About a low chance right now. The remainder of the tropics quiet, but we do have a very strong tropical wave moving off of Africa, embedded in some Saharan dust. Going to be hard-pressed for any formation. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While in the central and southeastern islands, a caution flag posted. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Tuesday. That's a look at our weather on this Thursday evening. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Disaster management officials have not decided whether vaccination status will influence admission to hurricane shelters this hurricane season. This as hospitalizations are once again on the rise locally.
We have not had the discussions yet. No, we're not brought into the equations yet. We just simply, once persons are required to go into a shelter, we're going to try and follow the health protocols as strictly as possible in terms of the distances as best we can.
National Emergency Management Agency Director Captain Stephen Russell says hurricane shelters look different this year as the pandemic rages on. Some have expressed concern over how shelters will keep populations safe from COVID-19, with different households mixing in closed spaces.
We cannot put the large groupings in those auditoriums like we've done in the past, so we have to reduce the numbers. That's why I keep pressing that we have to use the classrooms to minimize the number of persons in a general area. And that's the model moving forward as long as we remain in this COVID-19 era.
Sheltering in churches and church halls this hurricane season may also be less and less common as disaster management officials seek more resilient, durable structures for shelters.
Again, we have to go with what is available, whether the schools. We have to lean more on schools now, which are more sturdy built versus some of the church halls.
NEMA is looking for more structures set away from the coastlines. However, the COVID-19 pandemic put a damper on the income and fundraising efforts of many churches, which may have impacted maintenance and upgrade plans.
The churches, they're having their struggles with getting the repairs as necessary, so we're trying to find the best facilities in the islands to serve as shelters in addition to the schools.
More than 100 hurricane shelters have been identified throughout the country. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.